government gave them support in their industry. People in mechanics, government gave them support. Border like that. So that is in yoga. Now it's different from parish development model, because parish development model is the whole of government approach. So what do I mean by this? We are saying that government is going to the parish. All ministries will be in the parish to carry out their mandate. So the design of parish development model is that it has 7 pillars. Now, these 7 pillars will make sure that we don't only just give you the money, but first of all, we'll support you in producing, in increasing your production. We'll support you in making sure that the infrastructure that you need to move this production out of your place. For example, if there is a problem with the bridge, the ministry responsible for works should ensure, or the local government should ensure, that that bridge has been fixed so that you are able to transport your production to the market or to the factory where it's going to be processed. Then also, if you need financial support, we are saying that, look, we are establishing a financial base at the parish in form of a SACCO, and so that you don't have to go to the bank to get money to increase production. You don't have to go to money lenders in order to increase production. You can borrow within yourself in the parish, and then the money is supposed to be revolving. Please note that this is not money for eating, it's money for, it's a loan. You borrow it and then you pay back to the parish. So, so the parish SACCO there will be oversight by the parish development committee. The parish development committee will have oversight on the SACCO, so that the money is not lost. We will also have a social services aspect in the parish development model. So what we would like to say is, while you are busy doing production, you should know that there is a school nearby, and that the teachers are there, and that the children are actually studying.
Does that fall within the aspect of community mobilization and mindset within the 7 pillars of the PDM?
Well, this one falls under social services. We have a social services pillar and the parish development model. There's of course also the community mobilization and mindset change, which is a pillar which is going to target people to change their mindset. As you know, poverty is actually in the brain, in the mind. People become comfortable with their status quo. So you have a cow, you have 1 acre of land, and you are able to produce food, and you have your milk. You're comfortable. You don't know. You don't feel the problem. So mindset change is supposed to come and try to open up your mind and say, look, you can live a better life, you can have better incomes, and therefore a better standard of living. So all these are pillars that are designed to make sure that the households move out of poverty and increase their incomes.
Thank you so very much. I'll actually turn to the senior planner, that is Mr. Richard Wansambo. I was trying to look at the categorizations of the village households that are being looked at in as far as the plan and the mastermind or the blueprint for the PDM. And it so shows me there is the wealthy category, the moderately rich category, and the poor. As a senior planner, who are the main targets for the PDM in that kind of categorization?
Yeah. Thank you very much, moderator. First of all, I just want to add that PDM is not a new thing. And this is something that was there even before independence. And if the viewers maybe are of the same age or even older than me know that we had the parish model in the early 80s, whereby most programs were being implemented at that level. If you recall, we had the Bulungi Bwansi.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. We had the births and deaths being registered at that level. So this is actually not a new thing. And for this particular parish development model, this time round, we are going to focus on the households engaged in subsistence farming. That is about 39%.
So it's already fallen from what it was about 2 years ago at about 68%.
Which was about 68%. If you read the UBO's national
statistics.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that will be the major focus. That bracket, how do we move it from the subsistence economy to the money economy?
But again, I would like to ask you before we switch probably to a different angle. How many subsistence families do we have? Because yes, it's true, we might take it that every family is subsistence since we are not having all of them commercially into farming. But if we looked at it that way, versus the 10,500 and something parishes we are looking at, does that fill in all the households, all the families, or perhaps all the parishes?
You'll find that we have this category in every parish. Although they are not at the same magnitude.
Definitely.
But like I said, averagely, we have 39% of these households that are still within the subsistence farming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. Dr. Muhumuza, when the senior planner mentioned something that has existed even as early as times after independence, you seemed a little shaken when I looked at you and your body language. But of course, I'm bringing in the aspect of this money and the inclusion it means, or it brings onto the budget, which we shall be hearing read around June in probably the first or second week. It's close to about 450 billion shillings. And I'm wondering, do we have this money? Could it be you have an idea how the budget looks like, perhaps? Shall this be implementable?
Yeah, of course it is implementable, and the reason you'd say the parish has existed way beyond the 80s. Before we were born, there were parishes, there were villages, there were sub-counties, there were counties. So this same thing is actually an old reinvigoration of government. You are deepening decentralization.
Yes.
And Uganda has been on the decentralization policy since the early 90s, 1992. But we have had all these misconceptions of trying to project the parish development model as a new thing. We are saying no, government is actually trying to do a multi-sectoral development approach and taking, as Commissioner has indicated, a one government concept. Because we've been operating in silos, and everybody has observed and said operation in silos is the reason poverty has remained rampant in the areas.
Yes.
Because you take a project and all you are doing is increasing agricultural production. And agricultural production increases, but the culverts of the roads have not been worked on. So people are unable to take their produce
to the market.
To the markets, but also to bring in the necessary inputs. Now, at the end of the day, the driver of the fuso, which is supposed to pick the cabbages, the melon, and the goats, because he's going through a lot of hardship to reach the farmers, and he has to maintain his profit margin, he's going to end up pushing a very low price to the farmers. Now, people are complaining, why is milk at 200? Why is maize at 200? This middleman, you don't blame the middleman. The middleman is also suffering with very bad infrastructure to reach these people. He's suffering with costly fuel to reach these people. And he can only secure his margin by lowering the price of the farmers. And that's why you'll hear things where people will be saying, why is a bunch of matoke in Kampala at 15,000 and yet it is 3,000? Now you quickly attack the middleman.
Yeah.
Now we are saying, can we do all everything? Let's take the entire government to the parish. And now some people would be saying, now you have emphasized the parish, you are missing out on the sub-county chief. Exactly. Now, the guidelines are very clear. The Local Government Act, Section 69, is very instructive to say the parish chief shall report to the sub-county chief. So this is not like saying, now that you have given me gumboot, you have forgotten my hands. No, I'm actually empowering the parish so that the sub-county can be empowered, because the parish is part of the sub-county. So by empowering the parish, I'm empowering the sub-county. I am empowering the district. I'm empowering the country. But because the action happens
From the grassroots.
from the grassroots, can we take government down to the grassroots and in totality? Because some of the people are saying, but previous programs didn't perform. It might be true, it may not be true. The evidence we are saying, subsistence farming was 68%, is not 39%. Meaning those previous programs actually participated. They have kind of made a contribution. But we are saying as you get closer to the finishing line, to get the last mile, you need more effort. Because what we have picked now are the easy to catch who were able to leverage these programs. Now to get the last group of people out of the subsistence economy will take the whole of government operating at that level. That's why the parish development model is 7 pillars. We need to pick the information about these people. We need to have strong administration and governance. But also we are saying some of the people didn't make it because they received money, they bought a goat, they bought a cow, they grew cabbages, cotton, all these enterprises have been selected. But while they are trying to reinvest their money, a child falls sick. Then they sell the cow to go and treat the child. Now we're saying in that case, the failures in the health system are undermining wealth creation efforts. So why don't we bring health as well on the table?
Yes.
So it is that pillar number 4.
Correlating.
Which is economic service, social services. So when I hear people say the parish is about 100 million into a parish, no, you're actually underestimating the budget. Because there is also the health budget. There is the education budget. There is the infrastructure budget. For us, we're looking at all these budgets.
So Dr.
as an
Musa, just to come in a little, when we look at the parish development model,
yes,
which particular ministry does it fall? Local government?
It is a whole government.
Whole government.
But when you go to the parish, the main implementing entity there is the Ministry of Local Government.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So even the health workers at that level belong to the local government. But they are using guidelines and instructions generated by Ministry of Health. So we are saying Ministry of Health, don't just send guidelines. Don't just send drugs. Because the person supposed to give me the injection is a local government official. So when you forget the local government and they don't recruit the health workers, they don't recruit the teachers, then all your efforts at the central government level are going to remain hanging and will be washed out. So local government will take the mainstream in the implementation. And when I hear people saying, where are the councillors? No, the councillors, their role is very clear. Yes. Supervision and oversight.
Oversight.
Now you are overseeing nothing. We have actually brought this to give you business to oversee. So their role is going to be, have the circles been formed? Have the parish development committees been formed? If they have not been formed, flag that to the cow as a councillor.
Who is actually the main supervisor?
Who is supposed to be the main supervisor of all these programs.
Yes.
And if the cow fails, the commissioner here planning and his PS and his minister are watching. They appoint that cow. He is the other person they supervise. The PSST is watching, Permanent Secretary to Treasury, who appoints the cow as accounting officer for the money that has gone in. So the whole of government must be down there for these last mile households.
Doctor, before I come back to Commissioner Chilian Yang, I hope that's the right pronunciation though. Chilian Yang. I'll simply say Commissioner C. Then the other name. Doctor, before I get to Commissioner yet again, when you look at the inclusion that has been pushed forth by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the country, to see to it that the number that was to a tune of about 68% involvement in subsistence agriculture, crossing downwards to about 31, and thus to say perhaps the figure that has changed or fallen off has gone into commercial agriculture. Could it be it's because of such initiatives, or perhaps the Ministry of Agriculture as an entity did a great job?
Of course, not just the Ministry of Agriculture.
Together with
the other ministries, the trade and industry. But also, people are saying, have we learned from the other programs? Certainly we have. And one of the major lessons we have learned is all these other programs were planned in silo approaches. That's why we're saying now, let's go with one program. All of you must fall within this program.
Yes.
All of you must participate. And we'll tell you the people who have developed these guidelines, the majority of them have come from these different sectors. They have made a contribution. They are also going to be jointly held accountable. We had reached a level where the silo system had really become so bad that you'd find Ministry of Agriculture is designing a program, and within their project, they're including road construction. Because they are saying the produce must be evacuated. We are saying, but road construction, these are district roads.
Yeah.
These are community roads. Government has already appropriated a budget somewhere to do them. It has hired engineers in the districts to do this. So why don't you just reach out and say, how do we liaise with the districts we are supposed to operate in to make sure part of this budget is in the right docket? You don't have to own the budget for roads. Because before you know it, Minister of Health will also say, I need patients to reach the health facilities. So I'm going to do roads. Education will say, I need the children to actually reach the schools. So I need to do roads. No, stop those kind of thinking that if the other party hasn't done it, I should do it. This is government. And you're one government. So raise it to the respective sector. So the parish development model is all those 7 pillars put together. And we are taking that joint one government concept to that level, to make sure if anything is not done, don't try to do it yourself. Flag a partner who is part of you. It's one government.
Yes.
If security is not there, everything falls apart. And if people should never miss out on that. Without security, every effort is lost. But people will always not recognize security. We take it for granted. But it is a fundamental pillar. So we are saying the police, to make sure your goat is safe. You don't really want to wake up one morning and your cow has been stolen. And you have invested all the money you picked from financial inclusion pillar in that cow. You can't even pay back, but you're going to be really disoriented. You lose your trajectory to out of poverty just because the police was not around.
Because security had elapsed.
Security and that law and order lapsed. So this is one government concept is trying to tell people, while you sleep, your cow is also actually sleeping. It's not walking. More so in a direction you don't know. That is the one government concept.
All right. Commissioner Cyprian, I want to ask us, for the benefit of our viewer out that side, and that person that has picked an interest to be a part of this wonderful model that is going to help eradicate poverty, what are the terms, how does one join, and what are the other bits of nitty-gritties one needs to take care of before they can get started?
Like I told you, the parish model is going to the parish.
Yes.
All of us live in a parish somewhere, whether in Karamoja, whether in Ankole, there is a parish.
Yes.
So what is going to happen is we're going to start by forming enterprise groups. So what do I mean by enterprise groups? These are people who are in the same trade. For example, you'll find dairy, people who have dairy
business.
cows, yes? They'll make one enterprise group, dairy farming. People who are in Matoke will make another enterprise group. These people will therefore nominate somebody to represent them in the circle. So the circle that is going to be formed in the parish is a circle that is new. It's not the old circle. This is a special circle called PDM circle. And to get members from all the enterprise groups. Once they're there, then they can elect their leadership and then be able to receive the support from government, the grant. Which grant now they will manage. They will manage it how? They will lend it to their community in the parish and be able to recover from the parish. That's the idea. So, of course, at the point of lending the money, this money, because it has to be paid back, you have to be careful on who gets it first, because it's a revolving fund. So you don't want to give somebody, and then the next thing you see has married another wife, or he has drunk all the money. You see?
Yes.
So again, I would say it is at the parish. You just stay in your parish, form yourself into enterprise groups, nominate a person to the circle, and then be able to manage it.
How many people make a group? What is the standing order? If we were 10, is it good to go? Or perhaps it has to be that figure that I saw somewhere, at least between 10 and 30.
Well,
is less than 10 still eligible a group to benefit from this kind of initiative?
Well, the idea is to have an enterprise group, which is one for one activity. Like I told you, dairy farmers will all have to have one enterprise group, and then they are able to send one person to the circle. So there is no limit on the number. It's just that you know each other. You know each other very well, and you agree to form an enterprise group together, and you agree on who should represent you.
I want to selfishly approach this in an angle of, in my parish, I am the only one offering a particular service. So I have no one to make a group with within the parish. What happens there?
Those details will be shared.
Okay.
Those details will be shared, but then the most important thing is for you to know that the country has been divided into ecological zones. And so we know which product thrives well in which
locality.
region, in which locality. For example, in Karamoja, you will have beef production is really the best thing that will work there. In Buganda, you can have coffee. In Bugisu, you can have coffee, and you have cotton in Teso and so on. So we will have. To have that guidance.
The parish development enterprise leadership will come in to offer guidance.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
But also to add to that,
Yes,
if you are one in an enterprise, chances are you're not subsisting. Chances are you're already rich.
Okay.
You're either doing commercial livestock, exotic breeds, or you're a poultry farmer in that locality.
Yes.
So you possibly don't qualify under the financial inclusion pillar. But certainly you qualify under the other pillars, because the roads are also going to feed to you. The security is going to speak to you. The education system, the health system will speak to you. So you are not isolated in the other areas, because I would be interested in knowing who is this one person, who is subsistence, and is doing something that the others are not doing. In economics and also ecology, you can say safety in numbers. Yes. So you would want to convince that person to leave the one thing they are doing alone and join the others.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Let's get to Mr. Richard Wansambo. I actually have a lot of interest in you as a senior planner because I'm looking at the money that is going to be available versus what the enterprise will have, avail as advice on what to take on as an enterprise, as an initiative to help this money return. How much is the minimum we are looking at in terms of what is going to be disbursed to the various parishes or maybe perhaps the circles?
Yeah.
And by the way, why I'm asking that is because me and Dr. Muhumuza might have an initiative that goes way beyond that minimum, and perhaps Commissioner Cyprian could be as well having a different kind of take, and their need might be much different or much higher as compared to the minimum we are offering as a PDM.
Thank you, moderator. In terms of money, and I think that is where the Commissioner started, by highlighting for us the various pillars of the model. Because most people have picked the financial inclusion, and that is where
it's reason why I'm actually emphasizing it.
Yes. But having said that, when you collect or when you add up all the monies that are coming to the parish, besides the money for the financial inclusion pillar, you'll find that what has been talked about, 100 million for the financial inclusion pillar, is much more. There is much more money that is going to the parish. For example, money that is coming through education, health, and so on. So there is quite a lot of resources that are going to the parish. But for the 100 million, in terms of the financial inclusion, we are we are in COVID.
Yes.
And this affected the economy. But of course, we are now picking up. And I know that next financial year, we shall be able to direct more funds to the parish and the other year. So it is that 100 million that for now, in terms of the PDM circle that the commissioner talked about, that we shall have to support the people in subsistence, to make sure that they come out of the subsistence economy to the money economy. But of course, you see, our interest is majorly the people who are is in the people who are already
having something.
Yes.
Yeah. They
For
basically
example,
need a financial muscle,
that is it,
or whatever other muscle within the pillars to get better.
Yes, because for example, if we are looking at a farmer growing tomatoes, the little money he needs is maybe to buy
pesticides,
yes, to
and
make sure
maybe
that
packaging and things of this.
That's right. So I know that it will go a long way in changing people's lives at that level.
Maybe to add or to clarify a little further on the money aspect. The idea is to be able to provide support of 100 million per parish going forward. However, this financial year, because it's a new dispensation, the government is starting with 17.7 million per parish. Then next year, we should be able to have got 100 million per parish. So if you look at 10,594 parishes, you're talking well about 1.1 trillion or something.
180 billion.
No, it's over a trillion.
Actually, yeah.
It's 1.1 trillion or something.
My mathematics needs a bit of recap.
Yeah. So, but you see, may not be for only next year. This might be continuous for as long as we still need the money. So you can imagine if we give 100 million every year for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years in a parish, you find a parish holding 500 million in 5 years, revolving around the beneficiaries.
Yes.
If you didn't get in this year, next year, you should be able to get, and then pay back, and be able to allow others also to be able to benefit from the loan. So that is the idea, to revolve the finances in the parish, and then also they should be able to look after the resources themselves, because now this is their money. Every parish now, it's their money, it is going to stay with them, they have to manage it within their what? Their parish, so that the money doesn't disappear. So that's the point.
Yeah, Mr. Wansobo, I was once Wansambo, sorry.
Yes.
I actually wanted to bring in something to you in as far as the returns, because many that are watching us right now, our dear viewer out that side, might be worried about how much they return. You see, there's been a lot of conversational talk when it comes to how much the banks give us for the loans, the security they ask for, the return in terms of financing the loan. Now, this one is also a loan in its way as a PDM for these circles or maybe the parishes. But what are the figures in terms of maybe interest and maybe penalties? So people should know how to go about this and how best they can make the monies yield, and so they don't fall short of repayment.
Yeah, well, thank you, moderator. This money, like I said, is interest free.
Oh, it's interest free.
Yes.
Can the three of us, rather the four of us, form a circle?
So maybe
so we benefit.
Just to know, for us to know, there's an interest, but not a commercial interest. Okay?
Yes.
There's an interest which is supposed to cater for inflation. Because even if I gave you 100 million now, next year, it cannot buy the goods that bought this year.
For which I took it the previous year.
Yeah, so there was that element of interest, which is about, the current inflation rate is about 6 or 7%. I think maybe Dr. Mumu is not. But it's a small interest. You cannot compare it to the bank commercial interest or the money lenders.
Does it have a time lag?
It's annual.
Annual.
And by that, something you should know is we have planned the revolving fund in such a way that it goes with the crop. If, for example, you have bought pigs to rear, or maybe you have bought cows for dairy.
Yeah. You look at
when
the period when the cow transforms from what it is as a calf to the dairy availing cow.
Exactly.
Or rather the milkable cow.
Yes, so the parish circle will have to be mindful when they're lending money to somebody. For example, if I have borrowed money to do, let's say, granuts, it takes 4 months or so for it to get ready. So I should be able to be given 4 months, and at the point of selling is when I should be able to pay back with interest.
Okay. So before I actually get to Dr. Muhumuza, I wanted to know from Mr. Wansambo, the live, or rather the launch, which is happening up country, it's actually going to be the manifestation of this all, and I'm looking at what does it mean for the people of Chibuku, where it's going to be happening?
I think this is a big opportunity for the people of Chibuku, and not only Chibuku, but the Buked sub-region.
Yes.
Because we have identified the Buked region, sub-region, as one of those regions lagging behind. And we have come up with a regional balanced development program, which is going to help such regions lagging behind to come out of that